Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn the subject Maths. Chapter number 3, Co-ordinate Geometry. First, Introduction. You have already studied how to locate a point on a number line. You also know how to describe the position of a point on the line. There are many other situations in which to find a point we are required to describe its position with reference to more than one line. For example, consider the following situation. As shown in the figure, there is a main road running in the east-west direction and street with the numbering from west to east. Also on each street, house numbers are marked. To look for a friend's house, here it is enough to know only one reference point. For instance, if we only know that she lives on street number 2, we will able to find her house easily. Not as easily as when we know two pieces of information about it. Namely, first, the number of the street on which it is situated, and second, the house number. If we want to reach the house which is situated in the second street and has the number 5, first of all, we would identify the second street and then the house number 5 on it. As shown in the figure, H shows the location of the house. Similarly, P shows the location of the house corresponding to street number 7 and house number 4. Now, this is all about the introduction. Now come to the next topic, that is coordinate geometry. What is coordinate geometry? In a coordinate geometry, we define the coordinates of a point in a plane with reference to two mutual perpendicular lines in the same plane. It also includes plotting of points in the plane, which is used to draw the graph of linear equations in Cartesian plane. Or coordinate geometry is to find measurement of geometric figures that can be graphed with coordinates. In the field of mathematics, every point, any figure, any plane or anything which has physical significance has a specific position in space. To locate any point, we require a proper position of the point, and these positions are termed as coordinates. Here we will learn about the geometries of various figures, plane or any point in space, and application of the various geometric on these figures. Now next one is Cartesian systems. What is Cartesian systems? We aim to introduce some basic concepts of coordinate systems. In 1637, French scientist René Descartes solved the problem of describing the position of point in a plane. Descartes invented the idea of placing two such lines perpendicular to each other on a plane and locating points on the plane by referring them to these lines. His method was a development of the older idea of altitude and longitude. In the honor of Descartes, the system used for describing the position of a point in a plane is known as the Cartesian system. The two perpendicular lines orientation was a major problem, and that's why we have taken a standard measurement, that is two perpendicular lines will be one horizontal and other one is vertical. The Cartesian plane is made up of two perpendicular lines. One is horizontal, that is x-axis, and other is vertically, that is y-axis, whose point of intersection is called the origin. The horizontal line is called the x-axis or abscissus, and vertical line is called the coordinate. The perpendicular lines may be in any direction, but when we choose these two lines to locate a point in a plane, one line will be horizontal and other will be vertical. These lines are actually obtained as the two number lines, calling them x, x and y, y. Place x dash x horizontal and write the numbers on it just as written on the number line. As shown in the figure. We do the same thing with the y dash y, except that y dash y is vertical, not horizontal, as shown in the figure. Now combine both these lines in such a way that the two lines cross each other at their zeros or origins, as shown in figure. The horizontal line x dash x is called the x-axis and the vertical line y dash y is called the y-axis. Since the positive number lie on the directions ox and oy, and these are called the positive direction of the x-axis and the y-axis. Similarly, ox dash and oy dash are called the negative direction of the x-axis and y-axis respectively. Now coming to our next topic, that is quadrant. What is quadrant? In the Cartesian systems, the perpendicular axis partition the plane into four parts. These four parts are called the quadrants. We can call the plane the Cartesian plane or the coordinate plane or the xy plane. These are also called the coordinate axis. Now, as shown in the figure below, shows the names of all the four parts. In the right upper sides, there is a first quadrant, and then in the left upper sides, there is a second quadrant. Then in the left downwards is the third quadrant, and in the right downwards is the fourth quadrant. By convention, quadrants are named in anti-clockwise directions. Each point is represented by its x-coordinate, followed by its y-coordinate. It can be written as x and y. So, for a point 6 and 3, its x-coordinate is 6 and y-coordinate is 3. As you all know that if a point is in the first quadrant, then the point will be in the form of positive positive. Since the first quadrant is enclosed by the positive x-axis and the positive y-axis. Now coming to next, if a point is in the second quadrant, then the point will be in the form of negative and then positive. Since we can say that second quadrant is enclosed by the negative x-axis and the positive y-axis. Now third one. If a point that is in the third quadrant, then the point will be in the form of negative negative. Since we call the third quadrant is enclosed by the negative x-axis and the negative y-axis. Now coming to fourth one. If a point is in the fourth quadrant, then the point will be in the form positive and negative. Since the fourth quadrant is enclosed by the positive x-axis and the negative y-axis, as shown in the figure. All is about quadrant. Now coming to our next topic, that is abscess and ordinate. Now what is abscess and ordinate? Now let us see why this system is so basic to mathematics and how it is useful. Consider the following diagram where the axes are drawn on a graph paper. Let us see the distance of the points P and Q from the axis. For this, we draw perpendiculars PM on the x-axis and the PN on the y-axis. Similarly, we draw perpendiculars QR and QS as is shown in the figure. Now, you find that the perpendicular distance of the point P from the y-axis measured along the positive direction of x-axis, that is PN. PN equals to 4 units. So we can also say that PN is equals to 4M. So we can write PN equals to OM, OM equals to 4 units. Second, the perpendicular distance of the point P from the x-axis measured along the positive direction of the y-axis is PM. PM is the distance equals to 3 units. and also ON is equals to 3 units. So we can write as PM equals to ON and ON is equals to 3 units. The perpendicular distance of the point Q from the y-axis measured along the negative direction of the x-axis is OR and SQ. So what is the distance of OR? OR is equals to 6 units. So SQ is also equals to 6 units. So we can say as OR equals to SQ, SQ equals to 6 units. Now last is the perpendicular distance of the point Q from the x-axis measured along the negative direction of the y-axis is OS. OS equals to RQ and OS equals to unit, so RQ is also equals to 2 units. So we can write as OS equals to RQ, RQ equals to 2 units. Now using this distance, how can we describe the point so that there is no confusion? So we write the coordinates of a point using the following convention. First, the x coordinate of a point is its perpendicular distance from the y-axis measured along the x-axis, that is positive along the positive direction of the x-axis and negative along the negative direction of the x-axis. For the point P, it is plus 4 and for Q it is minus 6. So we can write the x coordinate is also called the abscissus. Now second, what is y coordinate? The y coordinate of a point is its perpendicular distance from the x-axis measured along the y-axis, that is positive along the positive direction of the y-axis and negative along the negative direction of the y-axis. For the point P, it is plus 3 and for Q it is minus 2. So we can write the y coordinate is also called as ordinate. In stating the coordinates of a point in the coordinate plane, the x coordinate comes first and then the y coordinate. So we place the coordinates in brackets. Hence the coordinate of P are 4 and 3 and the coordinates of Q are minus 6 and minus 2. Note that the coordinates describes a point in the plane uniquely 3 by 4 is not the same as 3 by 4. Now come to our practical book. This is your practical mathematics books of standard 9, which you have to purchase from the shop. In this, there is a chapter coordinate geometry. Here you can see the figure is given below and complete the following statements. By seeing the graph, we have to complete these sentences. First, the abscissus and the ordinates of the point are dash and dash respectively. Hence, the coordinates of B are dash and dash. Here we have to find the abscissus and ordinate. The distance of, where is the B? Here it is B. The distance of B from x-axis is 4. So we have to write here abscissus is 4. And the distance of point B from y-axis is 3. So we have to write this 3. So now we got the abscissus of point B. Hence the coordinate of B are 4 and 3. Now second, the x coordinate and the y coordinates of the point M are dash and dash respectively. Here we have to find the distance of M on the x-axis, that is minus 3. So we have to write minus 3. And the distance of point from y-axis is plus 4. So we have to write plus 4 respectively. Hence the coordinates of M are minus 3 and plus 4. Now come to third. The x coordinate and the y coordinate of the point L are dash and dash respectively. Where is the point L? Here it is point L. We have to find the distance of L from point x-axis. The distance of L from x-axis is minus 5. So we have to write here minus 5, and the distance of L from y-axis is minus 4. So we have to write minus 4. Hence the coordinates of L are, we can write as minus 5 and minus 4. Last one. The x coordinate and the y coordinate of the point S are dash and dash respectively. So here where is S? Here it is S. The distance between the S from the x-axis is plus 3. So we have to write here 3. And from the y-axis the distance is minus 4. So here we write minus 4. Hence the coordinate of S are 3 and minus 4. Okay, now in the next lecture we will learn about how to plot the graph. Thank you.